Sometimes I wonder about this situation. Cleared up for like 2 or 3 days, almost ready to go out and do some Cerakoting. Woke up the next morning, a little overcast. I thought maybe we might slide by, and burn off real quickly and stuff. No, it got worse and rained. Humidity shot up to 87 to 92%. I'm going, Washington weather really, really sucks sometimes. But anyway, so I wanted to talk about not rant, but there's this guy on YouTube, and let me see what's his YankeeMarshall, the YankeeMarshall. There it is. He put out a little bit about 45 ACP and how it shouldn't be classified as some kind of a useful round. In other words, there are better rounds to use than the 45 because of serious reasons. But some of the comments he made in there just really showed me this guy has no clue what he is really truly talking about. Now, I was in Vietnam for a couple years there, and in the infantry, I did a lot of things and stuff, but I'm going to let you know. The 45 ACP was the carrying weapon around at that time for personal protection. And rightly so, because there was no 40. There was no... now, pilots, they carried a 38 revolver, but that was only for, 6 rounds, and you're about it. I mean, they didn't carry a bunch of rounds for the 38, and it was a regular 38, Smith & Wesson, or Colt. But anyway, it didn't, it was just for immediate personal protection. But this guy comes off saying about the 45 caliber and how it blah blah, it has no knockdown power. There is no such thing as knockdown power. Well, mathematicians and the United States Army, along with the United States Marine Corps, purchased the 1911 because of that reason, knockdown power. And the reason how they came up with that and what Thompson had to do in that deliverance of that 1911, and also Colt followed it suit also, is they had to prove mathematically that the round and its size and the velocity, the amount of energy it would generate, and when it hit its target within a certain distance. Now, you can't take a 45 and try to shoot 100-yard targets, 200 yards, 300 yards. That's just not the way it was made. This is a close quarter combat weapon. It is made when my AR or my Thompson, I had a Thompson 1927, and also I carried around I called him a thumper. It was an M79 grenade launcher. But anyway, that 1911, when something malfunctioned and I was in close proximity of the enemy and I had to do something quickly, you can't clear an AR. You can't. There's just no way to clear an AR in time. You have to pull that 1911 and shoot him. Now, unfortunately for the Vietnamese, their mass majority of people are little tiny people. No offense, but they just are. And that 45 caliber would actually knock them, just rock their socks and knock them down. But on the same token, the Army and the Marine Corps, in that testing, things were noticed first of all. Knockdown power is what they and I do, is we compare a certain item against something else we know of. Okay, so what they did, and it's been compared to, like a Volkswagen. Now, a Volkswagen weight is roughly maybe anywhere from about 14 to maybe 1,600 pounds. And they compared a Volkswagen, the weight and the size of that, it reduced down to a 45 caliber, hitting you That's what it would be compared to for its energy. Energy delivered on impact, as they called it. And this guy at this Yankee Marshall has no clue. He's trying to say, well, knockdown power is a fictitious thing like some Loch Ness monster. No, it isn't. It is actually a thing. It is a thing that was established by the United States Army and also by the United States Marine Corps, in which military arms manufacturers have to adhere to. The specification will say the round has to be so size, it has to have so much energy, and it has to deliver that amount of energy within a certain distance, and that energy is equated to a certain other item. We'll move on. I'll move on with that. So he flambasted some guy talking about he was in Vietnam, and his uncle talked about how he took his .45 caliber and shot the enemy, and it knocked him down. And he said, well, the guy was probably in Canada, and so slap him and ask him how it was in Canada. That's a slap in the face. And far as I'm concerned, that there proved to me that this guy, YankeeMarshall, has no clue at all. First of all, he was not in Vietnam. That's evident. He would have never said that about another person that was in Vietnam. If he did, that means he did nothing but something in the rear. Maybe back in Fort Campbell, Kentucky, keeping track of who's going to Vietnam, because he never went. Really, anyway. So I'm just ranting and raving about this guy. The YankeeMarshall has no clue at all what he talks about, evidently. And for that reason, I'm calling him out. I'm just saying, Frank, you are an idiot. You have no clue, and you shouldn't be spouting off about things you have no clue about. And the second thing about that whole rant that he was putting on was that he was trying to say that the .45 is no good and blah, 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 and all this other stuff. And I'm trying to tell you, this is my point of view. The round has no bearing on what I think, on what that idiot from the YankeeMarshall thinks. Has no bearing at all. It's the individual. The individual himself or herself has to determine what round is perfect for them, and what round is more comfortable for them, and what round is more fun to shoot. Remember, shooting isn't about shooting a person. The weapons that we get, that we buy from the arms room nowadays, from the gunsmith here, it's for going out and shooting and having a good time. That's what it's for. The Army Marksmanship Unit, the National Rifle Association, there's a plethora of organizations that get together and have shootouts and stuff like that. And why? Because it's fun. There's no comparison any weapon round against any other round, whether it's a more viable round or not. It's up to you, people. It's up to you. What makes you feel comfortable? And if a 45, you like a 45, well, God bless you. And if you like a Smith & Wesson 38, then God bless you too. Whatever round you like, okay? There are certain rounds I wouldn't recommend because there's certain, trying to get them seems like a little hard. Like the 5.7. I thought for a while there the 5.7 would be a kind of fun round to get. I bought one, set it up, fixed it up and everything else, took it out and shot it a lot. I liked it. It's a lot of fun to shoot. Rounds are really tough to get hold of, and I don't know why. Maybe because I don't do too much anymore on that area. But you know what? The weather outside, it's bright and sunny. A little moisture all over everywhere from the rain yesterday. So I gotta wait and try to keep on, and I keep track of the barometer and also the weather people trying to, as soon as that humidity drops down, I'm going to be on it like ugly on an ape, and hopefully I can get these going for you guys. Anyway, other than that, y'all keep your powder dry here.